morning. Thank you for joining us today on Becca's World. I'm your host, Blind Becca. Today we're recording the next episode of The Blind View. And Kim Parks is joining me today, and a few other people are going to be dropping in when they're available. So let's get started. How are you, Kim?
I'm doing all right. How are you, Becca?
Oh, I'm great. So today we're going to talk about this crazy antitrust situation and what's going on with these big tech companies such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and Google, and the way they're squelching our freedom of speech. What do you think about this?
I think it's been a problem a lot longer than people realize, but it's in the forefront right now because we're in an election cycle, a really big election year, and a lot of people are still home, not working. So it's obviously a bigger deal than it has ever been. People are getting their news from social media as opposed to television sources. And so social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, which is also owned by Facebook, by the way, they're really reaching and trying to figure out, do we hold people back? Do we police people's points of view? And really, they're social media, so they hadn't had to deal with freedom of speech before in this kind of way, not the way that mainstream media has dealt with violations of that. So I think that it's kind of a new topic in that sense, but Google and Amazon and big companies like that, Microsoft even, they've had
A monopoly.
their monopoly on our identities, so to speak, for a long time. Cell phone companies, things like that, they know where we're located. They know that we're using their products, and people have been worried about their Echo devices listening in, their Google devices listening in. It's been happening for a long time. They've been keeping track of your cell phone numbers for a long time and your email addresses for a long time. It's one of those things.
Yeah, that is another part of this that we should talk about, the fact that they're tracking all of us and tracing all our information and logging all of our activities and stuff. That's another huge violation of our rights, and another way in which they're scheming against us. But this other issue of the corruption that's going on, and the way they've tried to cover it up and stuff, and the fact that Facebook is squelching people who try to post videos about it, and YouTube is blocking users who try to share the truth or go looking for the truth and stuff, and all these big tech companies are doing that.
And who's to say what the truth really is? That's
why
the
it's
problem.
important everybody can speak.
Exactly. And then nobody is getting the actual truth. They're not benefiting from actual answers or knowledge. So, real life history in the making. So, like you've pointed out several times about YouTube having reliable news journalists, people out there, real life citizens going out there and asking questions as things are happening and reporting on them, because mainstream news reporters are not reporting on the important issues that maybe the everyday person is interested in. They're highlighting things that I really don't care about. you know?
Well, a lot of the mainstream media has an agenda. A lot of them are in
Yes.
the tank for one political side or the other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so we get a slant in our media. And that's one thing
Yes.
I really appreciate about YouTube is people just like you and I in their homes putting out the truth as far as they see it and what they've been learning. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it
But
seems more authentic.
how long will that stay possible on YouTube before they start policing
Exactly,
YouTube?
because that's what they're trying to prevent us from doing.
Look what happened with TikTok this year and how it involved a lot of teenagers and even young adults. Um, there's a lot of social media platforms that we're finding out aren't safe.
Yeah.
Um, and is it up to our government to protect us from those? Or is it up to those media platforms, social media platforms to protect us? And who's to say that we need to be protected?
Mm-hmm. So, I wanted to talk about something else that's been going on in the news lately that I find very compelling. And we talked about it last week, Kim. This blind computer repairman in Delaware who stumbled
Oh,
upon Hunter Biden's laptop. He realized he had Hunter Biden's laptop in for repair. I find it so fascinating. I bet that guy's an NFB member. You know what I
he
mean?
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And just because he's a business owner, it's a certain characteristics of a blind person, that go and do things.
mm-hmm.
But
He's
yeah,
a go-getter. Yeah.
I'm really impressed with that whole story. You know what I mean?
It's like a big coming out story.
Yeah.
Because the last I was listening about it too, it's everything that they accused Trump of doing
Oh.
during his impeachment trials, and they found no evidence. And this guy, unbeknownst to him, has this computer, and he discovers all of this evidence.
There were pictures of minor girls on the computer
So disgusting.
and inappropriate text messages and stuff. So
Yeah,
but
very
the FBI,
disgusting.
so
And I keep thinking about how the media played Trump to be this horrible person and part of the Me Too problem when he was running for president.
mm-hmm.
And I really don't see that. I know that's what's going to come up in the media is, well, Trump had sex with a lot of other women while he was married. But what Hunter Biden did, what Joe Biden looked at and knew about, were young, underaged girls.
Well, just the huge payoffs from foreign governments makes the whole very questionable and suspicious. You know what I mean?
And they both had their hands in it,
Mm-hmm.
both Joe and Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's disgusting. It's despicable. Mm-hmm. And it's corruption on a whole nother level. And there's proof. There was no evidence against Trump during his impeachment trials.
This is, why we're discovering all this crazy stuff. It's because President Trump is draining the Washington swamp, and that swamp has been developing over decades. But it's really crazy.
So
and his opponent is one of the people who's been making it so swampy for like almost half a century now.
You can, what did I read? A friend of mine posted a really interesting poem, and it has to deal with a famous art piece about truth meeting lies. And the truth was bathing and had set her clothes off to the side of the pool, and lies came upon truth's clothes and decided to take truth's clothes and wear them as hers. And so she now was wearing the clothes of truth. So lies looked like truth. And truth went to get out of the pool and realized that her clothing was gone. And she looked all over for it and looked everywhere and couldn't find her clothing. She was stuck to go back. She had to go back in the pool to protect herself. And she couldn't get out of the pool. Meanwhile, lies was walking around and spreading lies as the truth. And that's what I keep thinking is happening in our political parties. That's what I keep thinking is happening in social media. And I was very grateful to read that poem that my friend had shared, because it's very relevant.
That's really cool, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so many life lessons in the situation we're in right now. And there's so many parables and parallels you can see through it. If you have lived in this world very long, and if you've studied history or studied, writings of, ancient writings or whatever, you know what I mean? And I just find this time so fascinating. I can't wait. I think in the next 6 to 9 months, we're going to have some really amazing stuff happening in this world.
There's going to be some change. Whether it's good change or whether it's bad change, just be prepared for anything.
Oh, I think it's going to be good change, because I really think President Trump is going to be reelected, and our economy is going to get even stronger. And I think we're in for some really good stuff.
I'm praying that we continue to see more truths come out of this. Because honestly, it's by that second term of a presidency that we actually find out more truth. And that's historically correct.
But the question is, will full disclosure of truth hurt?
Are you there, Larry?
Whoops, yeah, Larry, you cut out.
Yeah, I think so.
Larry, you cut out. Can you repeat that? You cut out. Can you repeat that?
Oh, sorry about that. My phone. I'm on my iPad, and my phone was saying something because my headset is connected to both my phone and my iPad. Will the full disclosure, the full disclosure of truth is either going to help or it's going to hurt a lot of people on both sides of the issue.
People become angry. People also become scared. And that's because they don't know how to handle the truth, which is like Jack Nicholson said.
Guys,
I'm not saying it's wrong to fully disclose truth. I'm just saying beware, because it's going to, a lot of people are going to get run over by the bus.
You're what, right. Guys? There is so much truth being revealed lately. Remember Epstein and all of that? And I think we have a lot more stuff we're going to be learning about the Epstein situation, now the Hunter Biden situation with this computer, and I suspect the Clintons are probably involved somewhere along in one or both of these situations as well.
They have their hands in everything.
Yes, exactly. And so I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more interesting and incredible discoveries coming forth in these situations, and many more before the end of the year.
Yeah.
I just am really glad that President Trump's at the helm because I trust him. So.
Oh, what was that?
So Larry, what was that noise? That was your phone then?
What was that?
That was your phone going off? That made that funky noise a little
No,
while?
no, I think my that might have been my. It wasn't. Thought that phone beeping might have been my. What do you call it? My Victor or something.
Oh, okay.
Turning off. I guess I thought it was off, but apparently it wasn't.
So have either of you been to any NFB, either like virtual events lately?
I went to the. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Larry.
I went to the NFB national convention a couple of months ago, but I didn't get around to getting to our state convention a couple of weeks ago because I was busy with something else. But
Do you want to tell us about your experience at the national convention?
It was interesting considering that it was the first convention that I actually attended on a national or state level. I kind of would like to, I'm hoping that they get back to actually having one in person because I think I would have gotten more out of it had I been there in person. But it was certainly interesting to say the least. Is all I can say for it. Nothing really stands out. There were a couple of things that I liked, but nothing really stands out. Susie got mad because our state president and her do not get along. So when they were doing the roll call, as it were, all I could hear once Denise, I forget her last name, from Florida, spoke up. Susie was here screaming and yelling for the next half hour because her and Denise do not get along at all. She was screaming about how, the NFB, short-sighted the NFB is, and they're not out looking, boosting for jobs and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting. We missed the Speaker of the House. We weren't sure what time that was going to be. So and as I found out later, we didn't miss much. But but it was an interesting experience. That's about all I can say for it.
I wonder if Nancy Pelosi would have shown up and spoken had we had an in-person convention,
Probably not.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
Because I don't think we've ever had any national Democratic politicians at any of our national conventions, to my knowledge.
I would say that I did hear her speak during the national convention, and I don't agree with her politically. And I wanted to hear how she addressed a group of people with diverse political backgrounds, diverse cultural backgrounds, diverse religious backgrounds, everything. The NFB represents so much diversity, and I don't think she spoke to everybody. at all. And that's what I took from it. She played off as a very compassionate person, and I don't believe she is a very compassionate person at all.
Was her speech divisive, or was it bringing people together?
She wanted to bring people together, but if you, I've heard her talk in interviews, and it was basically the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Really. She was coming across as, I understand you because I am you, but she couldn't say that because she's not blind.
Uh-huh.
It's a broken record.
Yes, that's exactly what it is, Larry.
She was trying, yeah, I think we all know as blind people what we're talking about. We've dealt with plenty of people like that who try to pat us on the head and there, you'll be okay. I understand what it's like when I shut my eyes.
I'm working for you. I'm going to make things better for you. Maybe.
So I'm glad that I didn't have to listen to her speech, because I would have been totally put off by it. And I know my boyfriend, he's been listening to her on TV for months. We both have, through this pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. And early on in this pandemic, he would stand in the bedroom and he'd talk to the TV. He'd Nancy Pelosi, he'd say, Nancy Pelosi, you're, blah, 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 this and that. Now, when I met this man, he said, I'm not political at all, but during the quarantine, he sure got political watching all the nonsense.
Yeah, you can tell when somebody's being sincere and when somebody's just playing you.
Yeah. And see, my boyfriend isn't interested in politics. That's why he got her name wrong. He called her Nancy Pelosi. He said she looks like Skeletor, guys. He said she looked like Skeletor. And I remember what Skeletor looked like because my little brother used to watch Skeletor when I was a little girl and could see.
That's a funny analogy.
It's funny, listening to my boyfriend, a sighted person, just the things he says about some of these people.
I'm gonna use that one to explain that one to my boyfriend.
Oh, that she looks like Skeletor?
Yes. That's funny.
That's
He'll
funny.
Remember that too. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Nancy is one of those people, as soon as she opens her mouth, she's lying, and you just know she's weaving deceit.
I feel like she says the same thing over and over again. Or she starts the conversation with the same thing. Mm-hmm. I know what the people want. I know what you need. I know because I'm Nancy Pelosi.
Mm-hmm.
How? What? Huh?
Is she a robot? And what planet did she come from? And how did she get here?
You guys realize how close she is to the presidency too?
Third.
She's like, so if Trump dies and then Pence dies, she's next, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think. Oh my gosh.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically her and Pence basically have the same kind of role. She monitors the House, he monitors the Senate.
The Senate. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, so if they both die, she is in line.
So how concerned are you guys about the way they're squelching our freedom of speech and our freedom of expression online and on all these social medias? Larry, we were kind of talking about that before you came on. So do you want to...
I wonder what Leon's take is, too.
Oh, and Leon, too, yeah. Leon and Larry, do you guys have any take on those?
Well, hey guys, I got a quick minute. I wanted to share with you the great news that you can now get my first book, Because You're Blind, in hardcover, paperback, and on Audible. See the links below. This is the story of what it was like waking up blind at the age of 12, and then several years later being stripped of my constitutional rights by my parents. And it's the story of how I had to fight to get my constitutional rights back. It's a very powerful story, and I encourage you to listen to it. And the first 50 people who email me will get a free download of the Audible version. And all you have to do is go on and write a review on Amazon for me. Thank you very much. And now back to the blind view.
Well, my thing is, with Google, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, they are trying to oppress the conservative word. Look what's going on with Hunter Biden. Everything is coming out against him and his crooked daddy. But it's kind of fun. None of the mainstream media is saying anything except for Fox. Now it's come out that he's been messing with underage girls. This is what Giuliani said. He has the photos, and now they say it's someone's supposed to come out today about it. But hey, I don't know. I'm just sick and tired of all this crap. I'm getting tired of it. I'm just can't wait for this election to be over. I'm just tired of all this crap. And
are you concerned about the way they're squelching our constitutional rights, though?
Yes, I am. I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers, Steven Crowder, before I got onto The View. He did a thing about Joe Biden, how he's trying to take away our Second Amendment rights. If you literally go to his website, look what it says. He's literally trying to get rid of everything.
Yeah.
And it's sad that nobody really knows that. I'm like, wow. He literally wants to oppose the law. If your gun's not locked up and you and a kid like if a kid wants into your house, even if the kid doesn't live there, they want to arrest you for that. I'm like, really? I'm like, wow. But it's sad, man. It is really, really sad what's going on. The Democrats are just evil. I never thought like this when I was a Democrat when I was younger, but I'm glad I'm not now. I was so dumb back then, but you're young and dumb. What do you expect? Think you can change the world at 18? Yeah.
It's Kim. What changed your mind? How did you change your mind and switch over?
It was a gradual process. Once I finally got red pilled. Again, when I was 18, I got my first job at a grocery store. I think, how come I'm doing all this labor and somebody's making all this money, until I got a real job and I pay real tax, and I started to see like, okay, it's a skill set. Once I started thinking like that, because I voted for Obama back in 2008, because the way he was talking, like, wow, this guy really understands. Until I found out he was screwing us over. I even voted for him. I even became an idiot and voted for him again in 2012. I'm like, well, maybe his second term he'll do better. He even screwed us even more. I said, from that moment on, I would never be a Democrat again. And I'm glad I haven't. I'm trying to convince other people to think like me, but hell, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. So, it's sad, and how people don't like Trump. They'll vote for Hillary just to get rid of Trump, basically. And it's sad. God is sad. The hatred they have for Trump because of the media tells them to hate him. Tells people to hate him. I get into fights almost on a weekly basis with idiotic people about this. I'm like, if you only knew. But I can't make them look up the stuff, because they're gonna say I'm lying. Especially with this Hunter Biden thing, they're not gonna believe me. Especially since the media's not covering it, they're not gonna believe me.
Well,
yeah.
I don't think we're going to have a clear picture of what's happening until the election is over, one way or another. Because right now everybody is going back and forth fighting Trump and Biden. And I would hope that whichever way it ends, and I'm voting Saturday, so that I'll be done with it. But I'm hoping it'll calm down and maybe we can work some sense back. But as far as censorship goes, I haven't noticed anything that I've been saying. And as far as Second Amendment rights. You know, if I want a gun, I should have to, you know.
Now, Larry,
right
you're in Florida, right?
Hmm?
Are you in Florida, Larry?
Yes, I am.
So I thought I had heard that there was already quite a bit of confusion and problems with the voting in Florida. Have you guys been having problems there? Do you know?
I heard of, I have heard that there is. I haven't seen any because I haven't, like I said, I haven't voted yet. But I have heard, you know, this, I think there was a news, and I'm going to have to look at this news story because I was half awake when this news story came over my headlines that there were, you know, people bullying on both sides about, you know, sending emails on both sides saying vote for, you know, this or vote for that. We have your number sort of thing. So, you know, that's, who knows?
Yeah, I voted last week. I mean, I haven't heard nothing, not in Texas yet.
Nobody's intimidated to go to the polls, are they?
No, I mean,
Okay, and does anybody feel scared to go to the polls because of the virus?
nope. I mean, the lines were long where I was at. And we were standing close. We were standing close together almost. Maybe a few
What
feet
about you,
apart a
Larry?
little bit, but other than that, nothing major.
Larry and Kim, how do you guys feel?
Becca, you asked if any of us have participated in anything NFB related a little bit ago. And this past Monday night, the Phoenix chapter hosted an informational group outreach meeting about voting for people that are disabled or visually impaired in Arizona. And one of the attorneys from Arizona Disability Law was present, and he talked about how they've been making changes, especially for COVID concerns at the polling booths, to make sure that everything is sanitary and there's social distancing. And if you don't have a face mask, they can provide you with a face mask.
But they are planning on having accessible voting booths available, right?
At the polling booths, yes. They originally were thinking that they were going to be able to bring those to people's houses, but there are not enough to do that. So those are only available at the polling booths. You can still call and request a Braille ballot, but there are no instructions on the Braille ballot as to how to fill it out or mark it clearly. And you do have to sign it, and you do have to date it.
Well, and Kim, you said last week that when you get a Braille ballot, you also get a large print ballot.
It can happen that way too. It just depends on who you talk to at the county recorder's office. They may decide if you've already gotten a print ballot in the mail, which has happened to some people, that ballot will be voided depending on which ballot you end up filling out, because there are QR codes on the ballots which make them valid. So it's interesting the way they're doing it. And they are trying to make it safe, and they are trying to make it more streamlined. And it's just a process. Also, people have pointed out they do have hand sanitizer stations at the polling places, but it's a good idea if you are blind to bring your own hand sanitizer with you, because if you plug in your ear pods to those accessible voting booths, you're going to want to clean those off right away too.
When I go vote Saturday, I'll probably have my own sanitizer, and I always use my own headphones whenever I have always used, because I cannot use ear pods because of the implants, so I have to use over-the-ear headphones, and so I always take my own. So it's not a game changer for me, but it is,
So,
I'd rather go because I know that what I'm voting for is being there. So, and I put my ballot in the ballot box there, and
Yeah.
hope it goes where it's supposed to go and it's counted after that.
Right.
After it leaves my hand, I have no control, but I've done my part, and
Okay,
that's all I can do.
I want to take a moment for a public service message from yours truly. If you're hearing my voice, it's important to get out and vote this year. Get out and vote wherever you live. I don't care if you're blind. Get out there and vote. I don't care if you're in a wheelchair. Have someone help you vote. If you know what I mean. I don't care if you're elderly. I don't care if you're young and healthy. Go vote. It's important. This country belongs to all of us, and we all need to cast our votes.
Well, I do like here in Houston, with our paratransit, you don't even have to leave the vehicle. They'll bring the machine to you. I do like that here.
Yeah, and like you can wear a mask. If we can go to Walmart and go to the bank and go to the post office and go do all this stuff, stand in line at the pharmacy with our masks all these last several months, we can certainly do it on election day so we can vote to save our country.
Mm-hmm.
They also offer curbside voting here in Maricopa County as well, but only at certain polling places. So you want to call ahead and find out if it's available at your polling place if you're not going to get out of the car. They would send out a Democrat and a Republican representative and with a ballot, and then they're there to witness you filling it out in the car and you signing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll put it in the drop box for you.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll just bring the machine out to you. I'm like, that's neat. I did not know that. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
That's great.
But also, they've opened up our sports stadiums as polling places too. Because here in Harris County, if you want to do a mail-in, you have to go to where the Houston Texans play to drop it off. Our governor made that clear. He signed it in law. It's only one spot in Houston where you can drop off your mail-in ballot. So it can't be counted, I hope.
Absolutely. Do you have a website that you can go on and find out if your vote has been counted, Leon?
Yes. Don't give me the line. I don't know it, but once I found out I was still registered to vote, I just went ahead and voted that same week. So I went and did the machine. So I will look that up pretty soon, but it's been a little busy with school, but I will look that up and give it to you next time.
Have you guys noticed that Facebook has started prompting us? Like the last 3 days or so, every time I open up Facebook on my iPhone, it says, have you registered to vote? Click here to find your polling locations and stuff like that. So.
I noticed too, and I will say this for the general masses that are watching this, here in Florida, there is, and excuse me, and in other states, I'm sure, there is, if you are using a mail-in ballot, you can track it to make sure. Once you send it off, it is possible for you to track it to make sure that it is going, allegedly going to the right place. According to a friend of mine, she voted via mail-in ballot last week, and she said she was able to track her ballot till it got to where it was supposed to go. So,
that's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it is happening. There is security. I suppose I haven't, checked. I just chose to go and do the voting booth because I can, and Susie and I don't have any sighted person to help us, go to the post office and mail it off. So we're just voting. But there is that option, and it is being widely used in Volusia County, where I live, and in the state of Florida. Probably more in use in southern Florida too, because the cases of the COVID-19 thing are largely in southern Florida more than any other part of the state, and around Miami and that area.
The more populated areas.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
So tomorrow night, guys, is Thursday, and I think tomorrow is the last debate between President Trump and Joe Biden.
Yes.
Is everybody going to tune into it?
I
I'm
am.
gonna try my best to.
Yeah, I'm going to try my best to as well. I need to see what time it starts.
Because I thought the separate
It
town
starts
hall
at-
meetings
I
last
think-
week were kind of weird.
I think it starts at 9 Eastern, which would be 6 your time, Kim and Becca, and 8 your time, Leon. But they say, and the report came over yesterday, that what they're going to do is they're going to mute the opposing microphone while one or the other candidate is speaking.
I heard that too.
But then at the end, aren't they going to have like?
It'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 minutes here and 2 minutes there, blah blah blah, and then at the end, each person they get 8 minutes to go at each other or something like that. I think I don't remember, but that's the part I'm excited about, to hear them just going at each other. That's what I want to watch.
Knockdown fight.
Not this restrained, tightly controlled 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes to speak, and then you're going to be muted thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. And Kamala Harris isn't hiding herself right now. But it's kind of funny after
Hopefully there
that.
are no flies.
I wonder how many times we'll hear someone off stage, as it were, yelling, "Shut up!" You know.
No flies and no shut ups. It'll be nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I want to talk about the crime that's increased in my city. Wow.
Oh gosh, Leon.
What's that? What's going on, Leon?
Oh man, the crime has skyrocketed in my city in the last couple of months, especially last night. We had 3 little local rappers got killed at a club.
You're in-
I think I saw that in the
Viewers,
news.
where you're at, Leon, so they know. Tell the viewers what city you live in, so they know.
Oh, I live in Houston, Texas. The 4th largest, I think it's the 3rd largest city now. But yeah, our crime has increased tenfold. I think we're at our 330th murder in this city now.
Wow.
You know, and it's growing. Yesterday we had a cop get killed. 41 years on the force.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, he got called to a domestic disturbance. As soon as they pulled up, he started shooting. You know, and the funny thing, the messed up thing about it, the cops have been called twice that whole weekend, and they didn't even arrest the guy. I'm like, wow. So that's just sad.
You said they did not arrest the guy that shot him?
No, they arrested him yesterday because he got shot himself, but
they had been there prior.
Yeah, the cops got called twice there that weekend, and they said they didn't want to arrest him. They couldn't arrest him until yesterday. The cops got called. As soon as they pulled up, he started shooting. Shot the cop twice in the head and killed him. 41 years on the force.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. So,
crime is on the rise everywhere. It makes me glad now that I do not live in Orlando, which is the major city close to where I'm at, and it's on the rise there. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point now. You know, I don't encourage anybody to go out if you don't have to, especially at night. You know, I tell a lot of my visually impaired friends, why go out and party? It's not safe. You know, well, they're talking about, how come you don't come with us? You have a license to carry. Yeah, I don't go inviting trouble either.
Exactly.
You know,
it's twice.
And it's sad, you know, I didn't think Houston would get like this. I mean, we always had our bad areas, but now it's the whole city. Now you don't know what's going to happen now. I mean, it's getting very, very dangerous to the point where our mayor, he has literally increased police patrols in certain hot spots. But like they said, how come you didn't do it yesterday? Because that spot wasn't even on your list of the hot spots, and it's notorious for gang activity out there. So now he's got to revamp his old strategy now.
Oh God.
Yeah. We're a city with I think about 6 different police agencies. Heck, we should be one of the safest cities, and we ain't.
All you can do is be prepared for yourself and protect your own.
Well, that's what I try to do.
Well, and you can do your best to protect your neighbors too.
Oh yeah, we always look at our neighbors. Like my dad, if he sees a car that he doesn't recognize in my neighbor's yard, he'll call her. I'm like, hey, do you know this person? Yeah, that's my cousin. Okay, we let him make it. Like that time, she pulled up to a driveway one Sunday night. This guy was just laying in the middle of her driveway. He just land face first in the middle of her driveway. Like, okay, was he? I knew he was planning on something. You know, what happened like last Christmas? My neighbor on the other side of me, his niece got robbed as soon as she got out of her car. So, yeah, you know, it's not that I'm scared or anything. I'm just alert more often. Especially when I need to go to my treatment center. I literally am on alert. No, there's no AirPods in my ear, and my phone is in my pocket. Even though I can't see, I'm looking both ways because they don't know that I can see, that I can't see. Because I don't walk down my driveway without my cane. Well, I mean, with my cane, because I know nothing's supposed to be in my driveway but this vehicle. So, you know, just in case. You know.
So, Leon, do you use a folding cane or a straight cane?
I'm folding. And I use a rolling tip on the end of that cane. Is it an Ambutech? Heck, don't give me the line. You know, I just bought it from the Lighthouse. They had it, the color I wanted. I just bought it.
It's probably Ambutech if it's got the sort of bumpy rubber type grip on it. You know.
Does it have like the elastic cord coming out the top of it too?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that's Ambutech.
If it's a roller ball, it's probably.
Those are my favorite folding canes.
They're nice and heavy too.
I have 2 straight canes, like the one that they gave me at the school for the blind. It's made of fiberglass and it's real heavy. That towel, I like that too, but I just don't like my O&M instructor told me. He said, you know, Leon, the rolling tip is better because you don't miss anything. You might miss something with that straight cane. I'm like, yeah. And I have a telescopic cane too. I just can't find it. It's somewhere in here. Oh, I've looked at those telescoping canes, but I heard some bad stuff about them, so I never did invest in one.
Yeah.
I never wanted one of those telescopic canes because sometimes I have a tendency to, you know, when I'm standing at a bus stop or something, I'll lean on my cane or put some weight on my cane, and who wants that thing to just sort of, you know, collapse under you?
Well, the only problem I had with mine, and I fixed that with some Gorilla Glue, was the cap where you what goes inside with what a little cord is at, it would pop off. But I fixed it. I fixed that. So other than that, it still works like a charm.
I like my straight cane.
I like my NFB straight cane too. Yeah, I've checked out those telescoping canes, and I've had folding canes, several different kinds of folding canes, and I've seen other canes, but to me, the NFB straight cane is the best.
Well, I'm using a D cane.
What is that, Kim?
It's made out of fiberglass too, but it's super lightweight, and it uses the same metal tips that the NFB straight cane uses, but it bounces off of cracks or off of curbs, and I can do the tap tap slide with it as I'm walking, and I feel like I don't miss anything.
So where did you get it's called a D cane?
A D cane. You can order them online. It's D-cane. And they're made here in the USA, and they're only about $20.
Now,
Actually, I ain't
I
selling.
wonder how tall they come in though, because that's one thing I love about these NFB straight canes. How tall I can get them really long. So
Mine's really tall. Mine's really long, like up to my eyebrows tall.
Kim, how tall are you? I don't even remember how tall you are.
I'm 5'6".
Oh, okay.
But I know
So
that
your
it's
cane would
recommended to
come
have
up
it to your nose.
Your cane would come up to my belly button then.
I'm 5'9" and I prefer a 56-inch cane. So that's where they would tell me, oh, you need a 54-inch cane. No, I want that 56-inch cane.
So Larry, Susie's working outside of the house every day, right? Does she use a cane? And if so, has she said anything about her cane and how it works at her job and all of that?
That she works at an industry, a blind industries group
Okay.
place.
Okay.
So she and a couple other people have dogs. Most of them have canes. She's fine. They're apparently they're fine with it.
Does she use a straight NFP cane or does she use a folding cane, or do you know what she uses?
She uses a folding cane because when she has to work loading boxes or stuff like that where there's moving machines around, it's easier for her to stick it in her pocket or put it in her purse and keep it out of the way.
Yeah.
That's great that she has a job working at one of those facilities.
Yeah.
So she probably gets like the good benefit package and good wages and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good for her.
And we each have a backup cane. We each have two canes. We have a backup cane. And so now, interesting enough, what kind of tips do you prefer?
I use the metal tips on the NFP straight canes. But I'm honestly thinking about what Kim was saying about her straight cane, how it bounces off stuff. Because I hate it when my metal tip gets caught in cracks and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, it can do that.
Yes.
I tend to use the marshmallow or the rolling chip ones. That's just the personal preference, and you're going to find everybody likes different chips.
Yes.
Have either of you looked into those WeWalk canes? Or have you watched videos about them on YouTube or anything?
What is that?
That WeWalk, it came out, I think, last fall. Some Asian guy invented this cane called WeWalk. And it's like a cane that has GPS built into it. And I think it talks, and I think it's like an iPhone combined with a cane. Honestly, it was way more technology than I wanted to invest in, and it definitely. I mean, I prefer my long white cane to something I have to plug in and charge.
Yeah, I think it would be like carrying around a vacuum cleaner.
I don't think most people could afford to invest in that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, they're very expensive, but I just didn't know if either of you, because when I looked at it, I was like, no, I'm not even interested. But I know other people have different opinions, so I thought maybe one of you had looked further into it or maybe knew someone who had one, so you'd seen it in action or something like that.
I haven't even seen them. I've heard about them, but I haven't seen them.
Right. Me too. I personally would just use my cell phone if I need directions. But I would rather have my hands, at least one of my hands free. And that sounds really heavy. It sounds like something that would injure me somehow. And I don't like that idea.
Those are all the things I was thinking too, Kim. And And like I looked into it and I couldn't find any like money back guarantees, any warranties or anything like that, dude.
Mhm.
I was pretty shocked. But I honestly haven't heard anything about the WeWalk cane in quite a while, so I wonder how they're doing through all this pandemic and stuff, honestly.
I feel like there's been a lot of people trying to introduce canes with GPS technology on them.
Mm-hmm.
There probably is a market to a certain group of people that feel that they need that. But like I said, if you have some sort of map on your phone, or if you have navigational skills through orientation and mobility training, you may not need that.
The other thing too with such canes are if they, and again, it's expensive. If your cane is out there in front of you, it's going to take a beating. It's going to take a beating from traffic,
run through
from being used,
and mud puddles and cow pies and
if the cane is damaged beyond repair, and say that is the only cane a person has because they can't afford another cane because they've spent all this money. Think of all the money that's going to be cost to replacing it or fixing it.
Yes,
it's not practical in a lot of cases.
Yeah, that's what I found too when I looked into the WeWalk. It's just not practical.
I just tried a cane not that long ago, about a month or so ago now, for about a week, and it was like a chain mail kind of thing. I got to try the no jab cane, which is a folding cane. It's very similar to an Ambutech. It's not an Ambutech. It had a marshmallow tip and a very nice leather handle, and a spring. It was spring loaded in the handle, so that way when you held it out in front of you, if it hit a crack or something like that, it wouldn't jab you in the side. I found that my problem with it was that it hit every crack and it got stuck. So even though it wasn't jabbing me in the side because it was spring loaded in the handle, it wasn't very practical for me.
I think canes have a life of their own, like socks, and they do things to look for those cracks just to mess people up. So
it was getting stuck on rocks and everything. Like and it was a constant contact cane, and I just couldn't get it to work right for me.
Oh, that's frustrating.
But at least I got to try it.
Yeah.
And then I sent it to someone else and they got to try it. Kind of fun.
Yeah, rehoming canes, I always love, if I have a cane that's still in good condition that I'm not using anymore, I love rehoming canes. Or rehoming other things that I use as a blind person if I'm not using them anymore, instead of just throwing them away.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to get your hands on stuff as blind people. It's not like we can just go to Walmart and order and purchase any of this stuff. We can't order it on Amazon. Most of the stuff I get it straight from NFB. I go to nfb.org to their independence market.
And it's faster that way, actually, because if you go to places like Maxi Aids, it takes almost a month to get it, if not more. And they charge so much extra.
Maxi Aids, I've got a problem with Maxi Aids right now. I ordered a talking scale from them, and they sent me a broken one.
Yes, half the things you get from them.
I'm going to have to call, and I swear some butt is going to be kicked.
I've gotten some really good stuff from Maxi Aids over the years, but like when I started looking into investing in a talking scale, I was really careful to get one that wouldn't be really vulnerable, because I had purchased, I got a talking microwave from Maxi Aids that I felt quit rather quickly. You know what I mean? The talking on it quit rather quickly. And so when I went to purchase a talking bathroom scale from them, I tried to find one that was maybe a little bit more durable. And so far, the bathroom scale I got from them works really well. It still works good. So.
Oh, that's good.
You got lucky. They're either when I call them, they're either going to replace. And I really want them to replace the scale. I don't want my $105 back.
You
Right.
want the scale. Yeah. I love my talking bathroom scale. It works great. So I can see why you'd want one.
Yeah.
It never groans at me. It says, "Get off me, fatso."
Yeah. And I was almost, and I should have just gone to Amazon because I listened to Susie. Susie said, go to Maxiate to see what you can find. Oh, okay, I found something, and they sent it, and it arrived 3 days later. It arrived very quickly.
Oh, wow.
But it was broken when it arrived.
Yeah. I wish we could just go to our local department store and purchase things as blind people so we can go return them or get service with them easier if we need it.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. It's been so frustrating as a blind person dealing with this,
There's just not, in reality, there's just not enough of us out there.
That's one thing I've appreciated about Humanware, though. I've purchased several products from Humanware over the years, and when one of their products malfunctions, they send you, they'll have the UPS deliver a box to your house that you just put it in, and they will even have UPS come and pick it back up and take it and ship it into them for you, right? So I find that really convenient, but Humanware is the only company that I've dealt with that does that.
Humanware is a lot bigger than just blind people. They do a lot of things, ergonomic things for other disabilities and for other needs.
Oh, believe me, if I could afford their Braille Note Plus, I would get it in a heartbeat because
Oh, it's nice.
My Victor Reader, 2.5, almost 4 years old or more, and it's still going strong.
Is that how long you've had it, Larry?
Huh?
Is that how long you've had your Victor Reader?
Yes.
I couldn't remember when you got it. Good for you.
Hey, speaking of Victor
15,
Reader,
yes. In 15, yes. It is still going strong. It is still doing what it does. The battery is still good in it.
Does Susie still have hers? Does Susie still have hers?
Yes, good. She does. But she still has hers, and she also has a Victor Trek that somebody gave her. So she uses her Victor Trek now, but she has the Victor Reader Stream. It still works as a backup unit.
Yeah, I've got my Victor Reader Trek right here on the table here in front of me. I love my Victor Reader Trek.
I've had my Victor Reader since 2017. Only problem I have is no one here in Houston can train me on the doggone thing.
Now, is it a stream or a Trek, Leon?
I have a stream.
Okay.
I use it. Only thing I use it for is my books for school, and that's because me and my counselor, we guessed it on what to do.
It's pretty intuitive.
Yeah. So Kim, explain it to him real quick.
Well, I don't have one, but I've used one periodically.
I've had my Trek for a while, and I still have my Victor Reader Stream in my nightstand drawer, but it probably doesn't have a charge on it. I'm trying to remember. Does the Victor Reader Stream connect to Wi-Fi, guys?
Yes. That's the thing is no one's ever showed me how to do it because I'm gonna have to call Humanware because my state council doesn't know how to do it, and they don't have anybody here at the state that knows how to play with it.
Leon, I can explain to you.
I also found out that the same battery that works on the stream, if you have will work on the Trek. If you have a Trek and you stop using your stream and your battery goes, bad on your Trek, you can use the same battery from your stream over to your Trek, and it will work just fine.
That's awesome.
So for those of you on the Victor Reader Trek, have you guys taken them on any road trips to seek the kind of information they give you? You know, the orientation about your surroundings?
I have used Sue's Trek a few times to get around Daytona Beach.
How much is it?
It's very good. Very useful, actually. It's a little strange walking down the street and then it telling you such and such is on your right and such such and such is coming up.
Please wait.
Leon, I
Yeah.
heard you ask how much it is. So like it's literally like $150 or $200 more than the Victor Reader Stream.
Yes.
And it has like
Okay.
$5,000 or more worth of technology in it that the Stream didn't have. So it's a great
I mean,
bargain.
there's no computer screen.
Oh,
or
yeah.
what?
No, so
No.
do you, Leon, you have a Stream? You have a Victor
Yes.
Reader Stream? So it's got the identical keypad on the
Oh.
front. And it's
Believe
just,
me, I
it
would
looks-
love to have a Trek if I could afford it. You know.
yeah. Guys, I got a Trek and it's definitely worth it. And because
So
they
you can
can do
still play podcasts and download books.
Oh, yep. You can still, like, I can connect it to any internet radio station. I can download podcasts. I can connect it to NLS. I connect it to Audible. I connect it to Bard.
How
What
did
else?
you connect it to Audible?
I listen to podcasts on it. What did you say, Larry?
How did you connect it to Audible?
Well, I shouldn't say I connected it to Audible. I've been doing some research, and I think there is a way to connect it to Audible. But like I figured out when I was with my husband how to add an Audible bookshelf to the SD card, and you use the Humanware Companion on your laptop to download books from the Bard site or whatever site through the Humanware Companion onto the SD card, and the Humanware Companion like unpacks it and all of that, because that was always really complicated trying to do, you know. And so the Humanware Companion, was how I used to do. I just take the SD card out of the Victor Reader Stream and stick it in my laptop, and then I go to the Humanware Companion and I go to Bard and do it like that. But I think with one of these updates that has happened recently or is going to be happening, I think we may be able to connect these to the Bard site wirelessly like we do NLS. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Download directly. I had talked to Humanware about that, and they had said that they were working on it. You know what I mean? So I'm so excited about that because I love listening to Audible books, but it's harder when you have to take the SD card out, and go put it in.
That would be great. I would love to, because the only thing I don't like about using the Victor and connecting to Bard is the download time is so slow.
Oh, I just connect it and I set it down and I go do something else while it's downloading my books.
Oh, that's true. But you got someone like Susie. What she'll do is she'll get about 3 or 4 books going, and she'll download them, and then I'll come back and it's like 2 hours later, it's still downloaded.
She's still waiting. You've had dinner.
I want to take this opportunity to thank the men and women who organize and put together our Bard service in this country, because I have really appreciated it in the 30 plus years I've been blind. Anyway.
Have you, Becca, ever ordered Braille books from the library?
I have.
I have, Larry, too.
Yeah, from Bard.
I have a little bit. Did you want to say something about that though, Kim?
It's nice because you can download it in Braille if you use it on an SD card or on your Braille display and read it that way. Or you can order an actual Braille book and they'll send them to you, and you just have via post mail, and then you just send it back.
You mean like
sorry.
US?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I love the Braille. I love downloading Braille books.
If my
from
Braille
Bard.
skills were good enough, I'm excited. I really like the fact that these refreshable Braille displays are portable and that there are blind students who, if their Braille skills aren't good enough, they can actually download their textbooks into them. So they've got their textbooks with them and they can read them in an accessible format. I think it's all great. Unfortunately, my Braille skills aren't good enough.
Yeah, but I've downloaded them. I've probably got one SD card that is totally devoted to Braille books, and I download them to the SD card, and then I put it in my Orbit reader, and
Does the Orbit reader have a Braille display?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah. When it works, as if at the moment it ain't working, but so I haven't, and I can't. What I want, and also this costs about $1,400. I want the Orbit Reader 40-cell Braille display because that's at least big enough. Yeah, because the one I have is a 20, and I'll tell you something really funny. First time I started reading on one of those, I kept reading it, and I'm reading it, and I kept finding myself lifting my other hand to turn the page and going, oh, wait a minute, I'm not turning a page.
Yeah. It's still going because you don't have, because
there are no pages, right? Because it's the streaming, right?
Yeah, and and the other reason I like it is to, when it is connected to my iPhone, I could just get a book from Kindle or iBooks and just read it. Like
I can do this backwards. I have a Braille display. I'm holding it up. This is my Braille display. It's a HIMS Q Braille, and it has a QWERTY keyboard on it. So I can plug it into my computer, and use it as a regular keyboard for my computer, and use Braille to input on my computer. Or I can download books onto the SD card as well, which plugs in the side on the right side. It's a really nice.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Larry. Larry, have you read my book Because You're Blind?
I see it. I got to go, y'all. Talk to y'all later.
Okay,
All
bye.
right, Leon.
Bye.
Glad you were here.
Larry,
Mm-hmm.
have you read my book on Audible called Because You're Blind?
I keep looking for your name on Audible, and it doesn't come up. What name are you?
It's Rebecca
writing?
Meadows. Meadows is my author name. So it's Rebecca S. Meadows.
Okay, I'll look for that today.
Yeah.
A great book, Leon or Larry. I think you'll like it.
Oh, my second book is so much better, guys. I can't wait to get it up on Audible and out there. We're working on getting it formatted right now.
I'm excited. I will read it for sure.
I have also found out, Kim, the way I can download books, the way I put the thing, I found out I can download books on my Victor from Braille books using my Victor and putting them on the SD card that's in my Victor. And then I'll transfer, and then I'll just pop that SD card out when it's all down on the SD card and put it into my Braille reader.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Larry, are you saying you can download a digital BRL file from NLS into your Victor reader stream onto your SD card and then take the SD card and put it in your Braille, refreshable Braille display and the same book comes up in Braille?
Yes.
Wow. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you go in and you have to set up so that you said it says download a Braille and audio. Set up both Braille and audio, not just audio download. And you
cool.
Yeah, so it does work. And it will also read them. One time, it will also read them as regular text files. It'll read them. So there are. It is possible. The time-consuming part is it takes absolutely no time to download a Braille book, but the time-consuming part is transferring each volume, as it were, because each volume is a separate file. Transferring each volume to the card, but it's only time-consuming in the sense that it only takes about a minute. And it takes about as long as however many books, volumes your book is.
Now, is it good at keeping them organized correctly as it downloads them? You know what I mean? Because you said it like, so when you're downloading a book that has several volumes, you have to download them one volume at a time, right?
No. What you do is when you know how you go in and you say, okay, I want to download. Your selection is there, okay, and then it says download to that. It'll download the whole thing, but once it's downloaded to your Victor on the internal drive, it separates that, and that takes maybe 10 seconds for the whole thing to download. Then when it's downloaded to the internal drive, it'll show each volume as a separate file. And you have to transfer from your internal drive to the SD card each volume one at a time. But as far as the whole download, the whole book is there, right there.
Is it easy, or is it even possible to get the volumes downloaded in the incorrect order so they don't play correctly? You know what I mean? Like if it's, let's say it's a long book and it's 10 volumes.
Because it'll play. They will show up in correct order, because it says okay, for an example, it'll say Salem's Lot by Stephen King, Volume 1. Salem's Lot by Stephen. Each one is numbered, and then when they download to your card, they download in the correct order.
Cool.
Yeah.
Becca, have you ever looked to see what it would take to get your book on Bard?
Yeah, I checked into it when I was in Montana after I first published my book. I'm talking about my first book. And they refused to they said, well, send us a copy of your book. So I sent it to them, and they said, we're not interested in reporting it. So that's why I took steps and I put it up on Audible myself.
Wow.
So, and that's the story that we're making the movie based on, because other people, including myself, find this story incredibly compelling, and we feel it's important that people know what happened. So.
A lot of authors are privately publishing.
Yeah, the NLS library in Montana
Joe Pinto privately publishes her books.
So what does she write about? Is she a blind author, Larry? Is she a blind author?
Yes, Joe Elizabeth Pinto.
You know, I'm finding that publishing my own book is a lot cheaper than having somebody else do it for me, and I have a lot more control. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's a lot cheaper if you do it yourself.
Yeah, it is.
And you get all the money instead of some other third-party outfit taking most of your
income. Yeah.
Not to mention, you're paying somebody, someone to promote it, an agent, or
Yeah, I paid for one of those.
If you're good at self-promotion.
Larry, I'm not good at self-promotion. So when I first published my book, I actually hired a publishing company to do it for me. And I bought this expensive package that was supposed to include all this marketing and stuff they were going to do for me. I think it was a big scam. I've done much more with that story than they ever did for me. And that's just with my own determination and passion for my story.
Maybe you learned something from them.
Oh, yeah, I definitely did. Do it myself. And I learned that it is possible to do it ourselves. So.
for the almost 5 years that I've known you, Becca, when you want to kick ass, you can kick ass. I mean,
Oh, I get shit accomplished. Yeah.
yeah. So, meaning, that exactly, that's meaning that it does, if you want it, it's going to happen. You make it happen. So,
Yeah.
sure.
So, does anybody else have anything they'd like to talk about today before we wrap up the show? Or,
I think we hit on some really good issues today.
yeah, I think we did too. So I just want to remind everybody, I know when this finally airs, it'll be past tomorrow night, but I just want to remind those of us who are on the meeting here to tune in tomorrow night for the next presidential debate between President Trump and Vice President Joe Biden.
You're sending the good vibes right now.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so if nobody has anything else to add, we're going to wrap up the show. We hope you enjoyed. What did you say, Larry?
I said, okay. I don't have anything else.
Is Leon still? Oh, Leon had to go, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Just the three of us.
Okay. We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Blind View. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button and share this video with friends. Please like, share, and hit the subscribe button. Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Thank you for watching Becca's World. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.